Hello everyone, thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel and welcome again to this YouTube channel. My name is John Caleb. I'm doing tutorial about HR and workplace tips. Yes, and in this video specifically I'm going to talk about lessons that pandemic has taught us about adaptability in workplace. We know, all of us know about the pandemic and the crisis that we are still in around the world. And there are lessons that we can learn from this crisis or from this pandemic about adaptability in workplace, so that next time when the world open up for businesses and for the organization of the companies, we can still continue with the lessons that we have learned. For many years, professionals have asserted that the ability to adapt and to be flexible is what would determine whether the business or the organization will thrive or will continue to carry on with their businesses. So it is very, very important for business to learn on how they can adapt and also to be flexible so that they can thrive. Because if they have ability to adapt and to be flexible, almost everything is going to be good with them. So we have learned major lessons. There are so many lessons that we have learned during this pandemic that, however, is going to help us, is going to help the company leaders and the teams to build a company or to build back strong than ever before when people go back to work as normal. Number one lesson that we have learned currently is that the companies or the organization need to provide better health and wellness resources. During pandemic, people are faced with a lot of stress and distraction on their entire life, because people are able to not to continue with their normal life as they used to do before. Many individuals also struggle to book appointment to see doctors, also to struggle on what to eat well, on how to eat well, on how to fight the pandemic, on how to keep safe from their homes. Companies have discovered that they had to face these issues head on, so that they can maintain and ensure that productivity, they maintain productivity and ensure that their workers or their employees are taken care of. So it is very, very important that we need to learn. We also, in that same process, we learn that there is necessity of total wellness of the workers or the employees. This is started by financial wellness, mental wellness or mental health, and also various kind of supports that employees or the workers need in the company, so that they can able to maintain productivity and they can able to maintain wellness or wherever they are working in. So it is very, very important that companies need to expand their existing program, and also they need to come up with new tools or with new support, with new tools to support their employees and their families where they're working in. So when people go back to normal life and people go back to work in their offices or back to their normal jobs, it is very, very important that companies need to learn and need to expand their programs, so that at least they can take care of their families and their workers and their families. Number two lesson that we have learned is that companies and employers need to really try to rally around empathy. Yes, before pandemic, the kind of employee and employer relationship, the interaction were relatively limited degrees. They were relatively limited during the communication. Maybe people could not know they could not understand what other people are going through back at home. They could not understand what other employees are going through back at home. But now, because of this pandemic, many have learned to be empathetic, and also have learned to accept that the personal life and the circumstances of the people. The lessons that many have learned during this pandemic, that we need to be more grateful, we need to be more caring, and also we need to be more compassionate, so that we can able to accommodate people, and we can able to try to have to encourage each other where they are feeling low. So it is very, very important. Companies also can try to learn and can try to encourage their workers or their managers or encourage their supervisors to keep on checking on their teams regularly, not purposely for work, but to know how they are feeling or how they are doing, even in their personal life. So that one is a very, very important lesson, that when people go back to normal life, when people go back to offices, the managers can encourage, the companies can encourage their managers to keep on checking for people, checking their teams and their team members on regular basis. Another lesson that the crisis or the pandemic has taught us about adaptability in workplace is that the clock does not have to rule productivity. In the early days of pandemic, many employers, the big worry for many employers was how to motivate their workers on how to even to keep them productive, even though they are working from different places, or they're working remotely. So that one was a very big challenge for many bosses and for many managers. But we need to learn that it is very, very important that we need to we need to trust our employees. We need to trust those who work for us in the company, so that they can work with less supervision. They can work without being supervised almost all the time, because businesses during the pandemic or during the lockdown, when people are working remotely, business had to accommodate more unusual work. And also more unusual work hours, and also at the same time they encourage flexibility, and they also they had to encourage flexibility based on situation, that every type like different type of situation that was happening, case by case, so that at least, because everybody has their own problem or have their own cases. So it means that it was very, very important for the business to accommodate, or for the organization to accommodate their workers or their employees during all this period. Another lesson that we have learned during this era, or during this pandemic era, that is going to help us, very, very important, that we need to improve the communication tools. That the communication tools matter. Even though workers had digital tool or digital communication tools before, like email, before the pandemic hit, most teams relied on collaboration from one another in the workplace. So because business were working from people were working from home and remotely, businesses had to accommodate other types of communication tools, and they had to bring in other communication tools that will make communication effective. That one is like Zoom and so many other apps or other tools or other softwares that will enable the communication to go on well. This one also helps them to maintain and to improve their communication. So the companies need to encourage the consistency, and also need to build good habits that is going to bring solution, and that is going to encourage workers, and to ensure that they navigate and find values on whatever things that they are doing when they go back to real life or normal life, when people go back to their offices. So it is very, very important that we need to learn on how we can learn through this kind of changes also, and then we adapt to them, and then when people go back, it can be very, very important for us. With pandemic now coming to under control, and also businesses are starting to go back to offices, and also people are starting not working from home, or they're doing hybrid. Some days they work at home and some days they work in the office. It's very, very important that we need to apply whatever we have learned and make post-pandemic work environment very inviting and very, very encouraging for most employees and most workers. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed, please ensure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so that anytime that I upload the video, you'll be among the people that are going to be notified, and then here you come, we learn together. Thank you.